Well, good morning, tubers. It's time for another daily dose of Tim, little vape chat. I think I'll address a few concerns today. We'll call it viewer mail. You know, it's inevitable that any kind of a fundraising video at this point in time is going to attract a lot of negative comments, especially considering the critical nature of my comments towards Troy's ongoing grifting project. That said, I think the difference in the nature of the fundraising is patently obvious to anyone who really cares. There's nothing wrong with fundraising for a good cause, and I consider myself a good cause. I considered Troy to be a good cause way back a couple of years ago when I first saw the guy freezing to death on the floor of his broke-down mobile home with his cat. And I think that's what attracted a lot of people to him initially. There's the proof is in the pudding, I guess. And all the time that he's been fundraising, I've seen very little initiative from him. It's more like the do-it-yourself-for-me channel. My situation is a little different. It's out there on my blog, but I haven't really addressed it, to any great extent on my videos because I just really started doing the YouTube videos. I guess the POV type first-person videos on YouTube here in the last month or two. But I did want to take a minute to thank those who have been supportive of me. I have gotten a couple of donations. I'm at the point now where I think I have enough gas to get to Colorado for this job that I'm looking at. I've joked with my employer out there that I'm looking forward to him working me to death. And that's another thing. Troy is a good 15 years younger than me, and if his job is YouTube and he can make enough money off his YouTube videos, then that's fine. But obviously that's not the case. I don't make any money off YouTube at this point. I mean, I'm not against it. And if you find me entertaining or interesting or whatever, what I put up, and I get enough page views, or I'm still thinking in terms of blog, if I get enough views that Google or YouTube gives me a dime, that's great too. But I'm not looking at that, as a way to fund my mail order bride from the Philippines and my day-to-day lifestyle. I'm doing it for entertainment value for those who are interested. I got interested in Troy's DIY stuff because at one point in time, my late wife and I were going to escape from the Nazi mother and move to Prague in our English business there. But she got cancer and died, and that's something that a lot of people don't know is, my wife died just a little over a year ago. She had lung cancer. She died a rather slow death. I'm thankful to say it wasn't painful because she had adequate access to pain medicines over in Germany. It's unlike here where the doctors are afraid of the DEA and people are, suffering greatly. It was a first world medical system in the socialist tradition. And so she was well cared for. My wife was one of the strongest people I've ever met. She was never afraid of dying. She was afraid of dying in pain, and they took care of that for her, so I'm thankful for that. And I'm not in debt 20% of, $1.5 million worth of treatment that I would otherwise be in had I stayed here in this country with, my insurance. So there's that. And, of course, it's a sad thing that I've lost my wife of 25 years, but then I look at it like most people don't get 25 years with their spouse. We didn't have any unresolved issues because, the process, it's not overnight. I think about people that have fights with their spouse goes out and has a car wreck, and then they've got that on their mind, And my wife didn't want me to stay mired in her death. It's been a year. I'm trying to get back out in the world a little bit and, act normal as far as relationships go. I'm under strict orders from my deceased wife not to try and compare any woman that I might meet to her, which would be a fool's errand. I have met a lady. I've talked to her. I'm not giving her engagement rings or asking for donations to fly her from the Philippines. She happens to be a little older than me. It's more of an age-appropriate thing, and she may meet me in Colorado, and we might pick up the challenge at the tiny home. It's a unique experience to meet someone, especially a female my age, who's willing to deal with the privations and the pioneer challenge of such an undertaking. She's by no means well off herself, so we'll be scratching a pioneer existence from the soil here, hopefully next summer, if she can make her way out to Colorado to meet me. But I just have to say that I get viewer mail. People that I call it trolls. I mean, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's the difference between a troll and a legitimate question is really just in the nature of the wording. And I've been at I'm not going to name any names because these people are looking for attention. But it's been suggested that my tiny home my van is my tiny home, and if I talk about my church, and I could be just like Troy. I could join the Troy Club, but nobody wanted to join the Troy Club. There's a difference between asking for a helping hand and asking for a handout, and I'm not going to get into trying to figure out exactly what that is. I'll leave that to the viewers. I've been on the internet for 10 years. My story's out there in blog form. My church, it's been blogged about. You can Google the Church of Sanctimonious Indifference, and it's all out there. I'm not hiding anything. I've been a public person for at least the last 10 years. Done talk radio. I've done charity events. I've worked here at the Soup Kitchen in Jackson. Raised money for UNICEF when I was a kid. I'm not against helping people, and I mean it's a worthy thing. It's just a question of whether or not you feel like the cause is worthy. And then there's the element of how long does this go on? Right now, I'm a little bump in the road. I'm trying to get my van fixed. I might make it to Colorado, but I've got a bad CV joint, and I'm a little concerned about the tie rod ends on a 93 van with 190,000 miles on it. I'm not hungry. I've got a roof over my head. I'm in much better shape than most homeless veterans would be because of my friends. My family's not really in the picture. There's an estrangement factor there because, I'm the wild child that went off to Europe and married a foreigner. That's not really the case, but there are issues there. So I am dependent on my friends, and I have a lot of friends that have supported me as best as they can. I've supported myself as best I can. I mean, I got back here in November last year. I flew in on November 3rd, and it just so happened it was the last day of my passport, which is a 10-year passport. And it took me 4 months to get my ID back. I might as well have been Al-Qaeda. I had no idea. My driver's license had long since expired because I'd been in Germany for 5 years. I was broke because of the failure of our business over the year and a half that my wife's cancer consumed her. And what money I could have set aside, I refused to do so because while she was still able to enjoy life, I wanted her to do so. I've taken some heat from that. I'm sure I could have squirreled $1 or $2 away here and there, but just like I told her at the time, I says, you are still able to go, travel a little bit, take a train ride to Amsterdam, have some fun, and you are going to die. I mean, it was not a question that my wife was terminal. I'll still be here, and I'll make it. And I've taken some heat from family and friends about, those financial decisions, but I would do it the same way all over again. I had 25 good years with a woman, and I tried to make her exit, as pleasurable as possible, and knowing that I would have some challenges. But I have a pioneer spirit, and I'm confident that this will all work out. I would have been okay if I could have stayed in Memphis, but my living arrangements there were too dangerous. There was a running gun battle outside the shop that I was, bivouacked in at the time. It happened on a Sunday night. Monday morning, I got up and left. the time I was there, I was able to make enough money to get the van together, which, by the way, was a gift from someone who I'd never met before. I had not asked for the van. I didn't know the guy personally. He had just been following me and offered the van, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But that's the nature of lending a helping hand, and I'm trying to now leverage that into a situation where I can get someplace where I'm told there's more work than you can shake a stick at. So if you have a dime, you can put my tip jar. That's great. And if you don't, that's okay too. And if you still want to give money to Troy, that's fine. I mean, I think it's a fool's errand to do that. He hasn't shown himself competent to build a fence that'll keep a chicken from getting killed. He didn't really build his tiny home. He doesn't want to work. So there's the difference. And for those people who want to post comments, concern trolling is what I call it. Fine, it's up there. I don't block it because it just makes you look more like an ass and an idiot. And I believe that the best disinfectant for this kind of stuff is sunshine. So unlike Troy's channel, I'm not going to be blocking anybody that's an idiot. I'm going to let them be an idiot. And I will continue to do videos on my daily life, and I'm sure of my successes. And at some point in the future, I might sell T-shirts to help fund a tiny home or something. But the majority of the work is going to be done by me, and I expect that whatever money I get from YouTube, because I expect at some point in time I'll probably have enough viewers that I'll be getting a small check, I will make do. I'll work. I'll take my YouTube money. I don't think YouTube is a career. It could be for somebody, but it's obviously not for Troy. And to pretend like it is, that's another delusion that he's got. And they are many. But I just want to take a little moment this morning to let you guys know I didn't make it to the free concert downtown in Jackson the other night. I just didn't feel up to it. Me and the dog laid here and watched YouTube videos. There's too much noise and confusion on the big streets here. I did manage to get a little painting job that I started yesterday. I got to go here in a little while and do round 2 on that. I hope to finish that up by Monday, and it might lead to another little painting job next week. I'm really compressed on my time because I'm trying to get out of Jackson within the next 7 to 10 days so I can get to Colorado and get my life back going again. But I'm not going to pass up any work. And I won't refuse any donations. The quicker I can get the money together to get the van straight, the better off I'll feel, and I'm going to do whatever that takes. I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. I'm probably one of the most blessed Vietnam homeless vets that you'll ever know. So with that, anything you want to throw at me in the comments, I'll be glad to address it. It's a pointless exercise to try and upend my apple cart, because everything that I've done for the last 10 years has been blogged about. I don't really have any skeletons in the closet. Most of the things that people think that they can hold over my head are the things I'm most proudest of. So have your go at it, and I'll get out there with the paintbrush today and see if I can't finish up Minnie's kitchen and laundry room. And if I'm lucky, she'll point me down the road to one of her friends, and I can do a little painting there, and then I can get out of here. And I don't plan to do any skiing in Colorado, I can tell you that. I did that in my youth when I was in the military, but I'm probably a little too brittle. Although I'm in fabulous shape, I must say. I don't think I'm going to tempt fate like I would when I was younger. So you guys have a great day. I'm certainly going to try, and we'll update as time and conditions dictate. Y'all have a good one.